Well, Sam, mate, look, we didn't record an episode last week after the game against Perth, so apologies to all of our
14 people.
all of our tens of listeners who were waiting with bated breath for another Bridge City episode. But yeah, it's been a busy week for everyone, I think. So first of all, Merry Christmas to everyone. Hope everyone had a great Christmas. And Sam, I don't even really know if we want to talk about that game. Hey.
No, that was painful. At one point you did mention that myself and our friend Woods, who had brought our children along, was child abuse. So
Yeah, I sent that to Woods as well. I said I think you guys
brutal.
could be charged with child abuse for bringing your kids to that game. Yeah, look, I mean, on a bright note, we got to meet Jacob,
Yeah, that's right.
one of our
Yes.
listeners, and I think anyone who's active online in terms of the A League and Brisbane will know all about Jacob. So it was really nice to put a name, a face to the name, and a quick chat. And sorry, we sort of didn't really get to have a great chat with you, mate. But as you know, we're at the game. We are all a bit preoccupied. But Jacob did say something which I completely agreed with, which was
Yep.
as great as it would have been to see us score a late equaliser. Because I think he came over with what around about 10 or
Yeah, it
15 minutes
wasn't
to
too long
go.
ago. Parker was bored and annoying
Yeah, he was
the
bored after
den.
he was bored after like 15 minutes. But yeah, Jacob said he actually wanted us to lose so that Zadkovich would lose his job, but that's not what happened.
I don't think it's ever happening. I feel like we're definitely gonna see out this season with him, and yeah, I just hope that that pays off in the end. But at the moment,
I don't think
I
it's going
can't
to.
see it doing anything. It's
No,
brutal.
he's not. Yeah, he that game against Perth, that was probably not probably that was the worst game of football I've ever seen Brisbane play.
Yep, definitely.
And then the game today was a slight improvement. But I mean, he's got us playing just completely nothing football. Like,
Yeah, and you can see it when we get up the front.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's yeah, Brissett having to do everything on his own, or Kignjalic having to like create something with five people in front of him. Waddingham's always got three men on him, and Halloran just doesn't know what the back of the net looks like. Poor thing. Like he had some opportunities, but yeah, it just seems like it gets up to them, and there's just nothing. There's nothing that happens,
yeah. That's
and it
what.
happened for both games.
Yeah, it's. I honestly think like going back a couple of weeks ago when we drew one of our games, and I can't remember who it was against, but it was that game that I spoke about where O'Shea actually was played further up the field.
Yeah, yep,
And that's, I mean, we saw today, like, we just literally just before we clicked record, Sam and I said that we want to actually sort of single Jay O'Shea out because
yeah,
he had a
definitely.
he had a like he had a good game today. But like I think that this season's really gonna leave a sort of like a bad
Yeah,
taste in his mouth in terms of Brisbane. I think it's completely disrespectful to him. The service that he's given to the club, like he's stuck by the club amongst, I would assume, other offers that have come in, and
yep,
yeah, he was, like he was good today, so we have to give him credit for that. But I honestly think like the lineup for us needs to be whoever we have at the back because it changes every week.
it does. Seems to be
um,
forced mostly at the moment, but yeah, it
yeah,
does change
yeah,
every week.
but I don't think we've played the same backline two
No, I
weeks in
do.
a row.
I've actually just written that down as we were starting that I need to go back through that, like we said last week. And I'll have
Yeah,
a look at all the different changes to our backline over
yeah.
the course of this year or this season.
But I mean, in front of that back line, I think like today we started with O'Shea and Shaw, sort of in
Yep,
those holding midfields, and then we had Haller and Jelicic, who was playing on the left.
Brissett got his
Brissett,
first start. Yeah,
Brissett with his first start, and then obviously what is up front. But I think the way to go because we did look better in the second, a little bit better in the second half when Zabala was on.
yep,
So I think the way to go is to have Shaw and Zabala playing in that holding midfield, positions, and then
Yeah.
allow maybe put
Well,
maybe
I would actually, if we're going through that, I would have like a what 4-2. What would I wrote it up 4-2-1. No, 4-2-2-2. I think it was. I was trying to work it out, but it was O'Shea in behind um Brissett and Waddingham up front with Jelacic and Halloran on the wings.
Yeah, I would probably put for me. I would have Shaw and O'Shea. I mean Shaw and Zabala, and then in front of them I'd have O'Shea. I was sorry from left to right. I'd probably have Jelacic, O'Shea, Halloran, and then Waddingham up front,
Yeah.
and allow yeah O'Shea to be in a more advanced role, getting his foot on the ball. But that's neither here nor there at the moment because I don't think Zadkovich is going to do that. I think he's going to
No,
stick with the way that everyone's played
the
O'Shea for the
exact
last
yeah,
5
the
years.
exact same way that it's been played for the last what 12 games. And
Yeah,
they
well, I
basically
mean,
just pulled him back and kept him back there.
I harp on it. I harp on about it every week, but I feel like O'Shea's been played out of position for the last 5 years, pretty much. Like
Yeah.
he's. I mean, we saw glimpses of it today. He's so classy,
Yeah.
and yeah, he needs his foot on the ball in an attacking area because we don't
Like
have a
man,
number 10.
and he was searching for it today. Like he was everywhere and anywhere trying to create something and was the man doing everything. Like
Yeah,
every time I was like as I was watching on my phone, um, yeah, I was like, oh, who was that? Who was that? And then they'd click it like change view and be like, oh, of course. Shay's there again. So yeah, it just seemed like he popped up on the right, popped up on the left. He was up in the attack, down in the defense. He was yeah, which he shouldn't be doing. He doesn't need to be doing all of that. He just needs to be creating in the midfield.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, and we see glimpses of it when Berenguer is on. Like he's still got that class,
Yeah,
but he's just just that that little bit too old now, where he sort of he can't last 90 minutes, and but you can see just but with O'Shea and Berenguer, you can see the step up in class that those guys have from the
I
rest of the
gotcha.
team.
Yeah,
Just having a look at the substitutions, mate, I thought like I feel really bad. Like last year I bagged Zabal up because he was played out of position, and the poor bugger was absolutely
he was.
rinsed every
Yep.
week. But for me, like um, Zimmerino came on today for I can't remember who he came on for. He might have come on for Brissett, I think.
Yeah.
Oh mate, I've got to say I think he's probably one of the poorest signings that I've seen come to the
Yeah.
club. He,
And
he offers nothing. Like, and I'm sorry if he listens to this. I highly doubt he does. But um, man, he's horrible. He's so
yeah,
bad.
especially going from Brissett, who's this live wire, always trying to create an opportunity to have a shot or
Yeah,
create an opportunity to put in a cross. Like that's all he's trying to do. And then you bring on someone that is just flat.
flat.
And it
He's
just
not quick.
kills, yeah, just kills the advancement in that left hand side. It just and then you see the defenders on the left hand side. I think it was because it wasn't Gilroy today, was it? Oh no,
Gilroy was
yeah,
on the left.
Gilroy was on the left. Yeah, yeah. So it was Gilroy and Bolidi. You just saw them just being like, well, what are we supposed to do?
Well, I mean, a couple of the key moments in the game that, like, once again, mate, like this is just an indication of how shit everything is going. Is that I'm just getting to the point now where I'm distracted watching the games. Like I'm not paying any attention. It's
Yeah.
just the same old shit. But
Well, it's like today. I was at Dreamworld and like we got home bang on four, so I chucked it on, and then I went and did a poo, and then we went down to the pool, and I just watched on my phone all the way like down at the pool, like so I wasn't really watching. I was just sitting up on yeah up on the fence while and then I was like, oh, is that us that scored? Oh no, of course it's not. Um, So yeah, it is becoming like that. Like I'm not paying 100% to the game, which is very painful.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it sucks because I'm such a passionate supporter as well. In all my leagues and sports that I follow, I'm an incredibly passionate supporter. So me not paying attention and not giving everything, it yeah, is very unlike me.
yeah. It's. I mean, I mean, the blame has to lay with Zadkovich,
Yep.
because he's the one who he keeps
Well,
talking
how many
about.
has he signed as well? There's a
Yeah,
bunch of these guys are his signings.
they're
So
his signings, and he keeps on talking about like culture and the culture at the club and all that sort of stuff. Well, I mean, he's the manager. He's the one who is instilling the culture. And for me, when you watch the players out on the field, like none of them look like they really want to be there.
no,
They don't,
and we saw it with like the guys warming up when we were at the game. You could
yeah,
see it.
yeah,
Like you could see player like Zabala obviously knew that he wasn't really going on. He was just flop along.
going through the motions.
Why
Yeah,
am I
I
doing this?
mean,
Like,
they're defending like that.
hmm
Like it's you can see you watch the players just sort of like jogging around the field at times. Like there's no real urgency until there's 3 minutes to go.
yeah,
And the game's gone, and then all of a sudden everyone wants to try and pull their finger out. But yeah, I think like I don't really know where I'm going with this, but um, I don't see how we get more than 2,000 people at a game with Zadkovich in charge in
yeah.
the way that we
Like
do.
I feel like Central Coast fans will outnumber us this year, this coming game
Probably,
because
yeah,
it's holiday time. So I
yeah. But why
mean,
would why would opposition supporters want to come to Brisbane at the moment? Like it's not going to be a good game. I mean, obviously they know they're going to
they're
win.
gonna win. That's the thing. It's
Yeah,
an
yeah.
easy win. Unfortunately, like
Mm.
today, if you just watch the like what I did with the first half, I just watched the highlights that were up on there was YouTube, and yeah, they it looked like we were the ones that should have won with just those highlights, and then you you read everything that everyone's read online, and you're like, oh, okay, well, why did they show the highlights like that? Um, it just shows that we're just doing nothing up the front.
Yeah,
It's
I mean, we had a couple of like Halloran had at least one absolute gilt edged chance that
yeah,
he should
yeah,
have buried. And yeah, I mean that could have changed the game from there. But and I think from memory that was after they'd scored their penalty. So
oh, was it okay?
yeah, so
I think
that would have
he had two. I think he had one early. There's one where he cut like he's it's a cross coming across. I think it's in the second half where there's a cross coming across and he I don't know what he does, skies it or puts it to the left of it or whatever, but it's an open goal basically.
yeah.
And then the other one was that ball that he just sort of launched at the goals where he could have just placed it in the back of the net, really.
Yeah, he could have just side footed it.
Yeah,
He put his laces through it, and he
yeah.
could have just placed it
Put
into
it
the
out of
net.
the stadium.
And that
Where is
was
that stadium? Because I actually didn't. Kristen and I were both sitting there watching the first half, going, "What is this stadium?"
it's in so
So
it's
where is it?
Tarneet, um,
Ah, okay, yeah.
yeah, which is
Yeah, proper
Western
Western.
Melbourne.
Yeah,
And I mean, I've read little bits about it. I'm not 100% sure on the whole ownership of the stadium situation, but I've got a feeling that Western United actually maybe own the stadium in conjunction with the local council area out there or
oh,
something.
okay. It's good,
But
good little stadium. I like it.
it's one of those like big growth corridor areas.
Yeah, where you can see in the background, can't you? You can
All
see
the
all the
construction.
development going on. Yeah,
Yeah, so I think from what I can tell, it would be. It looks like it's probably similar to something like Yarrabilba or
yeah.
somewhere.
The giant, what Pac Pines used to be, sort of
Yeah,
thing.
what
Yeah,
Pacific Pines used to be on the Gold Coast. Like when those places were in their infancy, it's one of the. I think it looks like it's one of those areas that's probably got three or four of those big developments going on. So
yeah.
it is gonna be a big area.
Cool.
I mean, it already that western part of Melbourne, sort of heading out to Geelong, has already got massive population.
Yeah.
So yeah, and apparently,
It's cool.
I
It's
mean,
cool to
not
see a small
apparently.
stadium like that. I was actually really impressed.
Yeah, and from what I've heard, like the people that have actually get out to the game said that it's a decent atmosphere, even though the
Good.
stadium's in the middle of nowhere and there's nothing around it.
Yeah. Well, you can see all the cars piling in at the start of the game still from
Yeah, yeah,
from the street. That shows you like how much it's accommodating because people are driving literally to the stadium.
yeah, yeah. They're
Remember
parking at the
those
stadium.
days? Far out.
Yeah, I'm driving to driving to Ballymore and
Yeah, that was yeah.
sitting in traffic for 45 minutes after
On the
after the
way
game
out, yep.
to get out of the street that Ballymore's
It
on.
was the same at Seagulls when we were younger. I remember that, sitting there forever trying to get out of Seagulls.
Yeah, I mean, and, that's kind of like we're sort of we have to apologize, everyone. We had no plan for today's like
No.
podcast, so we're just going to be sort of jumping all over the place. But that's a reminder for us, Sam. We do need to try and get Chris from Fun Football onto the
Yep.
podcast because there's been a change in government. Even though, like, keep politics out of it, I don't particularly like the LNP, but there is a change in government, so there could be a change in
Opportunity.
situation with Perry Park.
Yep.
So we need to try and get Chris on to have a chat with him and get him to explain some things to us. But that that stadium that those guys have got there down at Western United, little community stadium. There's no reason why Brisbane shouldn't have something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Something that's probably, I mean, Perry Park would be great if they can make it happen. If they can get that refurbished,
Yeah.
as anyone from Brisbane knows, it's across the road from Bowen Hills train station.
Yeah. You can walk there. It's all you need.
Yeah, it's like it's probably like a 15-minute walk or 20-minute walk from the valley. Like, if you wanted to go to
Do you
some
want to get
clubs or
on it?
go to
Yep.
the pub or something. I mean, Range Brewing is just around the corner. There's bowls clubs there. Like, yeah, it would be the spot. But in that sort of stuff, that sort of size stadium, like around about maybe 15,000 people at
Yep.
most, 12, 15,000 capacity, it would be fantastic. But yeah, so we need to get Chris on to have a chat with him, get him to explain the situation with Perry Park and what he and Fun Football are looking at doing. But just getting back to a couple of the moments in that game, mate.
Yep.
Not much stood out to me beyond there was
Okay.
that one touch that Waddingham had.
Oh
His,
God, wasn't it good?
his, his
I was
first
literally sitting there watching that, which was probably the only moment that I was legitimately sitting down with no one annoying me, and that happened, and I was like,
Yeah,
oh.
that second half, that touch, his first touch to take the ball,
Yeah, and just
like
away from the two
sort of like over
defenders.
his shoulder and then past the defenders and then get the shot off. Oh man, that was magic. It's so good to see him developing like
It
that. It
sucks
just
because 2 weeks in a row, their goalkeeper has defended two or three really, really good shots. And they're
yeah,
just like,
yeah.
fuck, go in. But that's what
That's
happens when you're in this sort of rut.
that's it, mate. That's what
Yep,
happens, like when you're on top and you're winning, those go in, they sneak
yep,
in under the keeper or bounce in off the post and then off the back of the keeper's head or something like.
yeah,
But at the moment, it's just have credit has to go to Waddingham. He busts his ass every game. He chases everything. He doesn't give up until he eventually is taken off. I just wish that some of the other players would sort
yeah,
of like
God, yeah.
take his lead and chase everything for the whole game. Um, yeah, but that for me, that's pretty much the only. Oh, there was a couple of like really nice little touches from O'Shea and Berenguer. Like quick feet to get
Yeah,
them
quick
through.
feet. Yeah, there was a couple of little, yeah, like two or three men on them, and they were pulling them one way, passing in quick 1-2s.
Brissett looks promising.
Yeah,
He wasn't like outstandingly fantastic today, but he
but I feel
looks.
like he's warming. He's definitely warming to the task. Like he is going to be a problem.
Yeah, he's got.
Whether it's going to be our problem or someone else's,
Yeah,
that's remains to be seen. Because January is only what 3 days away,
yeah. I'm not sure
or
what they've
two and a bit
what the,
days.
if they've signed him on a 1 or 2 year contract. I'm not sure with Brissett, but promising. Like as bad as everything is at the moment, and it's very bad. We have to be honest; it's
Yeah,
horrible. Like
disgusting.
it's the worst it's ever been for the club. Obviously, that's what almost the worst start ever by a A League team.
It's the only reason that it's not the worst start is because of our for and against.
Goal difference, yeah.
Yeah,
That
Central
Mariners
Coast.
team from about
Yeah,
6 years ago.
yeah,
But that we could probably circle back to how bad everything is at the moment. But Um, yeah, I think Brissett and Lucas Harrington at the back.
Mm,
He's fantastic. Like
he
for a
is.
17-year-old kid, last week was his first ever. I don't think he's had any minutes. I think that was his.
No, I think he had those little bit of minutes one game. Like came on at the end or something, and
No,
then
I've got a
yeah,
feeling that last week was his first start
was
and his
just thrown
first
into
minute,
the deep end. Okay,
and he played 90 minutes, and then again backed it up again this week. Yeah, he looks like
solid. Yeah,
fantastic. He made a couple of really good tackles today. He's got like a really cool, calm head on his shoulders. He doesn't seem to get flustered. And yeah, like I have to admit as well, Ability played pretty well today.
yeah.
He
That's what
has
I mean.
not.
Those both boys on the left hand side, they seemed really solid. They just were just like, why are you sending so much fucking work our way? That's all it seemed like. They were just getting frustrated with those in front of them because every time that they had to stop something, it was, which is good to see that they're getting frustrated with the men in front of them because
Yeah.
they should have been following back and they're not. And it's yeah, it's good to see that they're actually because they're both pretty young, aren't they? The Blitty and oh, not so much Gilroy, but yeah, they're
Well, Gilroy's still
being
he'd be like early 20s. He's not.
20s, yeah. But
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
yeah,
Like they're now feeling like they're able to do that to the players in front of them, which is what you want to see. Your,
yeah.
your back should always be the strongest guys on the field that don't take shit. So
And yell at everyone,
yeah,
get
even
cranky.
if they don't listen.
But yeah, I think Harrington. Yeah, he's going to be some player. He's for a 17-year-old kid to be thrown into the deep end. Like Ben Wallen, unfortunately, did his ACL last week, so he's gone for the
It's
season.
crazy.
He'll be out
Like,
for a
luckily,
year.
we have someone like Van der Sar that can just pop back into the backs. But I
He
mean, we really don't have any other backs.
Van der Sark hasn't been great,
The,
I have to
no,
admit.
he's not been great, but he is the only person sitting in our like starting lineup that can just slot back into that role and not yeah.
Well, he's at the moment he's the most experienced defender that we've got on the pitch at the
Yeah,
moment. Um, Ability is early 20s. This season's his first professional season. Harrington's 17, and then Gilroy is not really a defender. He's been forced to be a makeshift left fullback.
yeah. That's what I mean. We really haven't pieced it together like we did last year, which is so annoying. Or last season, I should say.
Yeah, yeah.
Having to piece
Talking
together
about
this frigging backline.
last season, last year. What did you say it was before? 200 and something days since our
Oh,
last win.
so this gentleman Giuseppe
Oh,
Sapir,
Giuseppe. Yep.
good old Giuseppe. He's really good at bowling, apparently. Remember that? Giuseppe instead of Gillespie on
Oh, yeah,
whatever game that fucking was. That was so good. 268 days since our last competitive win. This is under Ruben.
yeah.
22 games played, 3 wins, 6 draws, 13 losses at a 13.64 win percentage. The lowest of all our managers ever.
Mhm.
15 points from a possible 63. Worst start by any club ever in the A League, except for obviously the for and against. No wins in our last 13 competitive games. Um, and yeah, like it just kept going. Like he had like 7 consecutive home losses and just all these stats. So I was just like, I just got depressed and
And
and put it down.
well, I mean, we might try and play. I'm not sure if we will manage to have it playing at the start of this episode, Sam. But
Yeah,
maybe if I don't put it at the start, I will. I'll put it at the start. But everyone, if you listen from the start, you would have heard the actual noise at full time from inside the den. We were right beside the den. That's where our seats
Is
are.
yours have like just Parker yelling over everything, or
I don't
because
know. I
my
have to have.
that's all my audio, all I can hear is Parker yelling. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
we made a point at the end of the game. Sam was recording. He like zoomed right in and was recording Zadkovich to see what his reaction was, and I was filming the den to try and just.
And I'll put up we'll definitely on our YouTube. So jump onto our YouTube if you're on the podcast and have a look at the end. We'll put up Ruben Zadkovich shaking hands at the end. And yeah, there's a bit of an awkward, um, wouldn't really say refusal of handshake, but it's more of a touch of hands without eye contact.
Yeah,
It's yeah,
okay.
it's very telling. So we'll
You told me
definitely
about
add that
that.
in there.
You'll have to
I'll
send it
send that
through,
to you. Yeah,
and
I'll email
I'll
it
have
over.
it. Yeah, I'll have it laid over you talking about it just then, mate. But oh, geez, distracted again. Like, what were we talking about? Oh, just yeah, that's right. So we're talking about how many games we've lost and how
Yep.
shit and everything is. All of those numbers that you rattled off, and yeah, like that's the first time in I I'm trying to remember the last time that I heard a Brisbane team yelling out for the manager to be sacked. Maybe Aloisi. Um,
Yeah, I don't even think he really copped it.
but there was what sacked in the morning was the
Yeah,
chant that
sacked in
was
the
going
morning was
around.
definitely floating.
And
Some
then
some
yeah,
guy started a really good one up the back of behind the den. I can't remember, but yeah, they all sort of latched on. It was just one of those pommy chants about the manager disappearing. Um, but no, I think the only one that I've ever heard anyway would probably be him. So I can't
yeah.
remember another person being chanted to leave.
No, I'm trying to remember, like just from back in the day. I don't think anyone was ever yelling for Farina to be sacked. He got sacked because he got done drink driving.
Yeah, yeah, his was
Even though
overnight.
things were pretty diabolical towards the end there with
It's
under
probably a
him.
reason that he was drink driving.
Yeah. Oh,
Good
I
on
mean,
Frankie.
the poor bugger, like he got done the day after, which
Yeah,
is. But anyway, like, yeah, I can't. I mean, they sacked Mulvey after what, like 8 games in the six or seven
I think it
games
was
in the
six. Yeah, six
yeah
games.
the season after he won the premiership.
Yeah, yep.
He then
Six
got the
games and
flick.
gone.
Yeah, and I mean Zadkovich is what was it, 13 that we haven't 13 competitive games that we haven't won.
I'll bring it back up.
I'm pretty sure that's what it
Um,
was, the
yeah,
stat.
13 losses out
So
of 22.
yeah, that's the first time that I honestly remember being at a Brisbane game and hearing the den and supporters yelling
Yeah.
for a manager to be sacked. So that's the state of things at the club at the moment. And once again, haven't heard anything from Zach or Kaz this week, have we?
Nope. I've heard
No.
nothing on any of the socials. I've been
Mm.
scouring for it.
So
But even their socials are frozen. Like they're frozen in time, which is a bit weird.
like their personal ones.
They're personal ones. There's
Yeah, okay.
nothing happening on any of them.
Mm.
Yeah, so they're
It's
either dead or oh no, actually no, I saw Zach at the game that we were at. So no, he's alive, guys. It's okay.
it's very worrying though. Like, um, I mean, any other club, if they had had the start to the season that we'd had, I feel like the manager would have been sacked at least 2 or 3 weeks ago. Especially
Yeah,
last
exactly.
week,
Yeah.
losing to Perth. I mean, we're bad, but they stink. They are that bad, and we lost to them. So, I mean, what does that say about us? I mean, yeah, I don't know how both David Drillich and Zadkovich have got jobs at the moment. Probably
Well,
because there's no other options.
that's what I was going to say. Are we going to swap each other, or what's going to happen? They're not going to take Zadkovich back.
No.
The
Yeah, well, I mean, it'd
only
be
other option is spending money or getting someone like Ben Khan that came across and realized how shit things were and it went through some shit at the same time. That just sort of exacerbated his need to get away from everything.
one name that I have seen mentioned
Yeah.
by none other than Bob, who we
Bob!
used to play futsal with. Shout out to Robert if you're listening, mate. I have seen him mention a couple of times on the Raw supporters group on Facebook that Luke Wilkshire would be an option.
Okay.
I'm pretty not off the top of my head. I think Luke Wilkshire was coaching one of the teams, like maybe in like the New South Wales NPL, like
Yeah,
possibly
yeah, yeah.
Wollongong, maybe. Don't hold me to that. Let's do a quick little Google. But I know that he was coaching one of the like one of the better teams in New South Wales
Sweet. Yeah,
NPL.
no, I
That
didn't even know that he was coaching. I love that some of these guys are getting in coaching.
Yeah, he's been coaching
Because
for a
they're the
while
sort of players that you need in the coaching areas.
now. Let's see. Yeah, youth football. No, manager profile, transfer market. Good old transfer
Good
market.
old transfer market. God, they whoever's working overtime there, I don't envy your
Um,
stress.
Sorry, everyone,
That's
for
right. I was just looking on Zach's. He has he's put a story up of first player to score a back-to-back hat tricks in the Ninja A League.
the girls. Shout out
Yeah,
to the girls. Yeah.
everyone's talking about the girls because why not? Because they're awesome.
So he was. It looks like Wilkshire was Wolves manager. Yeah, Wollongong Wolves manager from 2018 to 2022. Um,
Sweet.
and then I
Wow.
can't
Good on him.
see. Yeah, I
I
can't
love that
see
he's
anything.
into it.
So I'm not sure if Wilkshire's available or like that's just a name that's been thrown out there.
Yeah.
I never watched any New South Wales NPL, so I don't know how good Wollongong were going during that time. But yeah, that's one name that I have seen popped up as a potential name to throw in the ring, as well as Bessart Berisha, that everyone is kind of now sort of
Don't do it, Bessa. Don't.
speaking into trying to manifest Berisha becoming the Brisbane manager. But the problem, I mean, Wilkshire was in charge of Wollongong for 4 years, so he's at least got 4 years management under his belt. Bess, he doesn't have any.
Yeah,
So
that's it.
yeah, and it could be one of those situations where we bring Bess in and
And it kills his career. We could
it
do
kills his coaching.
a Mal Meninga in politics. That's
Yeah, I don't think. I think he would. I think he would go somewhere else and find work
I would
easily. But
definitely, yeah.
it's a bit of a poison chalice at the moment. I think we really need someone who's experienced, like to come in and steady the ship. I don't know where we're going to get that. The club are obviously broke.
Yep.
They haven't signed, like anyone decent. If we're being honest, besides the fact that we've got an aging O'Shea and an aging Berenguer.
Well, that's our team. Our team is either aging or fresh young talent. Like there's no in between. There's no prime
Yeah,
players. The
yeah,
closest to it is probably uh, probably. I'm just going to click on them because it does have their little profiles that come up. Yeah, Anthony Gilroy is probably the closest it is because he's 27.
yeah. So
So
he'd be in
he's
about.
right in the right in the prime, but yeah, no one else is.
But I think in terms of like, I mean, that shows you right there that it's not balanced. You've
Yeah,
got either players at the end of their career or 17-year-old, 20-year-old
yeah.
kids.
There's 20
Um,
year gaps between everyone.
yeah, and I think manager wise, I mean, I can see the merits in having someone like Luke Wilkshire, seasoned
I would
pro in
love to
Europe.
see someone like that. Yeah,
Like he spent his whole career pretty much playing in Europe. Like in for like good clubs in
yeah,
like solid competitions. Played at World Cups. Played under the likes of Hiddink and
yeah.
like some good coaches. I'm pretty sure Wilkshire was in that setup under Hiddink. Was he a?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's the era that I'm thinking of anyway.
Hmm. I'm not sure if he played. I'm not sure if he was maybe in the extended squads back then, but he's at least. I'm pretty sure he's played under Ange at the Socceroos. So he's played under some good coaches. He's been surrounded by, like I think he played in Holland for a extended period of time. So he would have come across some fantastic managers there that he would have learnt from. But I really feel like we need someone possibly from overseas who's a little bit more experienced to sort of like come in with a with some runs on the board, like in terms of years that they've been running clubs and
Yeah, or people that have had like a bit of experience in rebuilding
yeah,
a club as well, especially a lower league. Like if you've got someone that's been in the third and fourth division of anything in Europe and they've been able to rebuild a club upwards, that's where we're at. We're at that sort of yeah. Unfortunately, we're nowhere near any other club than a third or fourth division that's not really getting funding. We've
Yeah.
got $1 billion owners.
Well,
It's kind
we
of
the other thing as well, like this is just a random thought talking about Europe, but like the Backeries, they also own Oxford United, who I think play in maybe the third division over
yeah.
in the UK. So like there's got to be resources and networking that the guys,
Yeah,
can
like
tap
why are
into.
they not our like sister club? Like
Yeah, yeah. It's all very, very frustrating. And like like nobody's on the Gold Coast like us. We've got no idea.
yeah,
Like, yeah, it's really sad the state of things, mate. Like we've said the last all season so far, like we don't have the answers, and we
no.
don't
Oh,
know.
they're in the championship. So yeah, what fourth division?
Oh, they're in the fourth division.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
they're in the championship. So yeah,
it's Championship second division.
is it second division?
Yeah,
I thought it was. Oh no, is the I had championship. Then yeah, League One. Yeah, okay,
yeah.
cool.
It's like Premier
And
League.
Leeds, yeah, Sunderland, Watford, yeah. So yeah, pretty.
Well, then
They're down the bottom, but
League One, are they?
no, they're in.
Fourth division.
So I'm trying to. No, it just says championship.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Okay.
they're up there.
Yeah, right.
They're doing well. They're with QPR, Stoke City, Portsmouth, West Brom, Swansea, Watford, Sunderland, Blackburn Rovers, Burnley.
So
All these
there's a
big,
question.
big names in football.
So
They're
there's a
sitting side by
question. Like,
side.
I'm not sure how long the Backeries have owned Oxford United, but why is there not some relationship between a team that's playing in the fucking championship that's
Yeah,
owned by the same owners and Brisbane? Like,
yeah, it
hmm,
does. Yeah, yeah. Um, Thackeray own them. Yep, it's on there. Yeah.
yeah,
Wow, how's that? Wish I'd known that.
maybe they've got a youth team manager or something there that they could send out here to see out the rest of the season or something.
Yeah,
Like,
well, that's what I was sort of wondering who's in their squad.
or
See if
maybe
there's
is
anyone
it is it
that's
is it Alex Smith? I think is the coach of the women's team. Maybe we could just get him to coach
honestly, far out. The girl, what did they just like while we started this, they just finished winning 8-2.
8-2. Yeah,
And it was 8-1 at one stage. Like
yeah.
they were yeah. Oh,
Maybe
it's
maybe you can do
brutal.
double duty. If we can just ask the league to rejig these schedules for us so that we can have a double header every
Yeah.
week for the rest of the year, and he
That'd,
can just coach
that'd be
coach both
lovely, yeah.
teams. Probably take the kits home and wash them himself as well, and save a little bit more money for the
That's
club.
what we need at the moment.
Oh man, we need something. We need new owners. That's what we need.
Yeah, God, yeah.
Oh look, we're just going to keep rambling, mate. Let's try and let's find something that we can actually do. Got a couple of comments here from the last episode that we did.
Yeah,
So we
yeah, yeah.
obviously didn't do one last
We
week, but
skipped one
we got
from the Western Sydney game.
yeah, comment here from Jonathan Hockley. He said, "Perfect timing. Listening to the episode whilst driving to Suncorp from the sunny coast. 3 points today, or Ruben has to go. He should go anyway." Yes,
He's not
100%
he's not
agreed.
going anywhere.
Ruben should have been sacked after that game, and he hasn't been. And as we go to air at like around about 10 o'clock on Sunday night to not today, still no word on him being sacked.
No,
No press conference has
still haven't
gone.
watched, yeah, still haven't seen anything come up with press conference.
But
I keep clicking on it.
I did mention when I posted the link to the podcast last week that I think it was around about 3 or 4 hours before kickoff. And so yeah, that's one thing from Jonathan saying perfect timing, and then Richard, um, he's said the same thing. He said agreed on the great timing, listening while getting ready to head to the match. And then he goes on to say, under Moon, we often kept 10 players behind the ball to avoid exposing ourselves. While being boring as hell to sit through and incredibly frustrating at times, it was at least a realization that the coach thought our squad couldn't compete by playing positive football. What we saw last week was a kick in the guts for any fan who loves football. I don't want to see any team employ these tactics. I especially don't want to see the team I follow employ this rubbish. He's talking about the time
Yeah.
wasting.
Yep.
Though it came as no surprise, we have time wasted in every game this season, both home and away, and in the first half many times as well. Harrington Harrington looks highly impressive. Waters needs to move to a proper football club. Keep up the good podcast, lads.
Thank
Um,
you.
yes, thanks, Richard. You're a legend, mate. Appreciate the fact that you've been listening since the start, and I miss seeing you at the games every week like we used to back in the day, mate. But I don't really think too many people from back in the day go to the games
That's what I was
anymore.
going to say.
Hopefully, Richard, if you're listening, mate, I'll send you through a message and we'll try and catch up at the next game you go to, mate. It was good to see Richard and a bunch of the old Northern Element crew, Andy and Wurzel and a whole bunch of the guys at Andy's 50th early this year. So it's nice to hear from Richard commenting on YouTube. Yeah, so we're gonna keep doing this. So if you guys want to sort of like interact with us and have your comment read out so that the other 15 people who listen to the podcast can hear it.
It's all our numbers seem to go with the performance of the team. So
Yeah,
we
on
need a good
YouTube.
performance.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the YouTube comments for last week. Where do we go from here, mate? What's our next game?
Central Coast, and that'll be
Central
the day
Coast.
after Dad's birthday. Happy birthday, Noel.
Happy birthday to our dad for a couple of days' time, but between here and the next podcast. Central Coast, well, they're
They're
not
down the bottom
setting,
as well. No,
yeah,
they've
they're
only
not
won
setting the
two.
world on fire. But I mean,
Difference is they've had um only had 15 goals scored against them. So they're actually doing not too bad for where they're sitting on the table. For like conceding anyway. Just
hard to break down.
they're like Perth and they just don't know how to score goals. But we saw what happened when Perth versus us. So
That's it. Yeah, shooting practice for some of these teams when they come up against Brisbane. One of the commentators today, and I can't remember, was it who was commentating today?
it didn't actually say so.
Hmm. It might have been. I think it. I don't know. I can't remember. But they did say something about. Oh, geez, it's escaped me. Yeah, it's late at night and it's the holiday period,
Yes, it's
and
holiday period. And I didn't even know that it was Sunday today while we're sitting at Dreamworld. And I'm like, what day is it?
it's that time of year, isn't it?
We love it.
There's like sport every day, and yeah, it's beers and food and it all sort of yeah, it's just that time of year. Well, geez, okay, so Central Coast, that's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see, unfortunately, mate, I don't see us winning that game.
No,
And who have we got after that? Have we got two home games in a row?
I believe it's I just got me out of it. Why'd you do that to me? Yes. So 3rd of Jan, Central Coast, 7th of January is Newcastle Jets, which is a Tuesday.
Okay, so like looking at it optimistically, which is this is really
We got the
bad
bottom
to
of the table coming.
we could be we could potentially pick up 2 points like they're two games that we could draw.
Yep.
And as sad as that is to say, with Newcastle coming to Suncorp Stadium, like we should be beating them, but Central Coast aren't the pushovers that they were 5 years ago when they had the worst start ever to an A-League season. So they're not pushovers anymore. So it's not a guaranteed,
Yeah.
not guaranteed points
Well,
against them anymore.
according to the betting agencies, I just brought up that on there, and we're favourites.
What? Maybe because we're.
Does anyone want to make some money? I don't have any to give to be able to make it. Yeah, that's incredible. It's I don't know how soccer sort of goes in the betting markets, but $2.40 for us to win,
Wow.
$2.62 for Central Coast to win. So wow, yeah.
Hmm.
I'd
Yeah, that's
be I'd be betting on an I know we know how to 1-0 as the last two games. Yeah, there you go. Central Coast 1-0, guys. I don't know what that'll pay, but
if you win some money, you owe us a beer.
yeah, you asked a bit. Yeah, I got me out of
Well,
it now.
mate, look, I mean, I think we're gonna be there at the next game, aren't we, with Dad?
Yeah, definitely at the next game. I don't know about the Tuesday game. We'll
Okay.
just have to see how schedules align because it's Tuesday 7 p.m. I'm just going to have a look at my schedule. But yeah, I'd be saying that that one might be a bit difficult to get to. So
I'll have to see how I'm going funds wise because I had my big holiday earlier in the year, so I'm
yeah,
not getting. I've used up all of my leave, so I'll see how I'm going money wise to get up to the game. But
I'll do.
um,
Well, there you go. My last job's in Hope Island, so maybe
all right, we'll see.
we'll
But we'll
see.
definitely be at the Mariners game, and then we'll see how we go getting up to the Jets. Um, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So, guys, if you've made it this far, thank you very much for sticking around and listening and watching. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, but I would love for you to come across to the YouTube channel if you're listening on the podcast and leave us some comments and let us know who. Let us know some names, that you want to throw in the ring for the manager position,
Yeah, definitely.
because it clearly
Noel
has to be
Mackey. Get
Walter
your UEFA
Tamandel.
license, Noel. You could
Walter
be the
Tamandel.
yeah, Volta. Imagine Volta.
Yeah,
Jeez, that'll be
would
it.
be.
That's just what you need. Just him puppeteering in the background.
We haven't spoken about Walter on the podcast for a while, but
I'll have to track him down again
we'll
and
have
just
to
get it. Get it.
explain Walter Tamandel to people who are under the age of 50.
Yes, that's it.
uh,
Yeah. Well, under
NSL.
the age of 70, really. I mean,
Some people who've got a little bit of knowledge of the old NSL,
I'll know him.
they'll know the
Good.
name. Um, where were we going? Oh yeah, so jump on YouTube and leave us some comments, mate. Guys, let us know. Maybe someone out of the box that hasn't been mentioned.
Press
If you've
conference just dropped.
what? Okay, cool. All right.
Yep.
Well, should we? No. Well, look, we're not. Yeah, we'll end the podcast here, and then we'll have a listen to the press conference, and maybe we can leave some
Put something up on the socials or something.
yeah, leave our thoughts on Instagram and maybe on I'll like pin a comment on the YouTube channel or something like that if it's
Yeah.
anything, any breaking news or whatever in it. But yeah, for now, guys, thank you very much once again for listening. This has been a very random, all over the place, very unstructured podcast. We haven't had
How we roll.
any no notes or anything, and we've made it. We've made it to the end. So jump on
So
YouTube, leave us some comments, let us know some coaches, some managers' names to throw in the ring, and we'll have a discussion about that after next week's loss to Central Coast.
you mean win? Next week's win. Betting
Uh,
agencies are never wrong.
at this point, it's sad, but I think we need to keep losing so Zadkovich gets
I know.
yoinked.
Bald fuck. Oh, sorry.
All right.
Oh,
Well,
it's
look, let's leave
painful.
it there, Sam. Thanks everyone for listening. Congratulations to you if you've made it this far,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we'll talk to you in what about a week's time, Sam.
Yes, after the win.
All right. After the
All
loss.
right. Peace.
See you guys. Thank you for listening.